What if you could run Claude Code 100 times cheaper than whatever you're using right now? Now this is Claude Code, but the model under the hood, it actually isn't even Claude. It's Deepseek v4, the newly released open source model that's essentially just trading blows with Claude on any coding benchmarks. And this is all with just a 2-line swap, and it's a 5-minute setup, and it basically cuts the bill by 100x. So I just had to build me this entire dashboard from one prompt, basically just one shot at it, and it's a polished design. We have all the live calculations, and it took about 3 minutes from start to finish. This is the kind of output that you would be expecting from one of the top tier models like Opus. Now, if we were to take this and do this on Opus, this would have cost me, 10 times the amount. I ran this for about 2 cents. This is the price for a stick of gum. Now, in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to be showing you the one prompt that does the entire install, the workflow that cut my Claude bill in half, and most importantly, the specific kind of work where this whole setup actually does fall apart because nobody's being honest about that. So 2 questions you're probably already asking about this. Is this even allowed? And what's the catch? So to first answer that, yes, it is allowed. Deepseek, they officially documented this themselves. They even published the endpoint. They published the exact environment variables, and they wrote the instructions for actually connecting their models into Claude Code, into OpenClaw, and really anything else. They just want people to actually start doing this. Now the catch is the whole reason this video actually exists. So there is one specific category of work where this entire thing is breaking. And the people who got burned trying it earlier this year, they are why most operators still pay full price, and I will get you there. Just stick with me through the entire build. So just real quick on why this swap actually works right now, because just about 3 months ago, it didn't. So all these open source coding models, they were very close, but you would just honestly feel the gap on anything past a boilerplate. But that recently changed in April when Deepseek v4 dropped. We have the open weights, the MIT license, that just means anyone can self-host it. They can fine-tune it or just run it locally instead of being, stuck behind a single vendor's closed API. And on the benchmarks, that actually matters for coding. It finally caught up with all of this. So for example, on the SWE bench verified v4 Pro, it's scored in the 80% range. That's the same neighborhood as Sonnet 4.6 and Opus 4.7. Now on coding tests, v4 is basically Sonnet, and on any hard reasoning, it's about 80% of Opus. So for most of what Claude Code actually does day to day, that gap doesn't really show up whatsoever. Now when it comes to the pricing, Opus 4.7 is $5 per million input tokens and $25 per million output. But Deepseek's v4 Flash, it's 14 cents per million input, 28 cents per million output. And the gap, it really will be showing up quite fast for you, pretty much the moment that you actually start running real workloads for this. I quite literally run 3 AI companies, and I've been pointing Claude Code at this Deepseek endpoint for the last couple of weeks across all 3, and we're shipping the same code that I was shipping, last quarter on Anthropic's API. Now the difference is in actually comparing these two on any routine work, it's imperceptible, but the bill, however, is not. Now, just a quick note, what I'm actually using to run this entire thing, my laptop, it's powered by Snapdragon, which is effectively what's running this entire stack. And this video, it's actually sponsored by Snapdragon, so link will be down below in the description to check them out. But I've had this over a couple of weeks now, and I don't throttle in any long coding sessions. My battery, it lasts all day, and the cost I'm about to walk through, it plays even better when the hardware is not burning power either. Now, anyways, for step 1, we're just going to navigate over into Deepseek.com. If you don't have an account already, just make sure it's to go ahead and sign up. It's completely free to make, so you only have to actually pay for what you use. And I dropped in about $5 just a couple of weeks ago, and I've barely touched this. But anyways, once you have signed up for your account, go ahead and navigate over into your API keys, create a new key. We will need this in a second. Now, once we actually grab this, it's gonna get a little bit more interesting because we're just gonna use Claude Code to actually install everything else, make it extremely simple for us to start using. Now, once we do have our API key, we're just going to utilize Claude Code to actually install everything for us. Now, a quick thing that I do want to flag before we actually keep going is that Deepseek, they officially launched their own documentation showing exactly how to do this. So again, just how to actually connect their models to Claude Code. And this is not a workaround. And this isn't some sort of like sketchy workaround or anything like that. This is not a hack. They wrote the instructions themselves. This is official. So you can see this is their page. The official method is to copy 6 lines of code and paste them into a config file on your laptop. It's a little bit technical, but it does work. Link will be down in the description if you want us to do it that way, but let me show you how to actually do it the easiest way. Oh, and one more thing worth knowing is that the same swap, it also works if you're using Open Code or OpenClaw or Hermes, and Deepseek officially supports all 3 of these. So we're staying on Claude Code today, but the same idea carries over if your tool choice is going to be different. But pasting environment variables into shell config files, it's the kind of thing that makes operators, just bounce off tutorials. So I'm going to show you a friendlier path. that uses a tool. All right, so we have Claude Code running inside of our IDE. I'm using VS Code. You can use whatever you want to actually utilize this. You can use the terminal. You could also use the regular desktop application of Claude, but we're just going to paste this in. So what I'm saying specifically is set up Deepseek as my Claude Code provider using the official Deepseek documentation method. So I'm effectively just copying what is in the documentation of Deepseek. And more importantly, we're going to leverage the power of Claude Code to make it as simple as possible for us to actually install this system and make it 100 times cheaper to actually be using Claude Code moving forward. Now, one important thing before we actually do send this off is that key that we actually copied from Deepseek earlier. This is where we need to replace it. So right here, we can just replace this with our API key. Now we're just going to press enter, run this off, and really we're just telling Claude Code to do 3 different things in one prompt. First, to just go check my shell config file. So that's my file computer, which is going to actually be reading every time that I open a brand new terminal. And from there, it's going to just clean up any leftover Deepseek settings from any older experiments. So we're just going to be starting fresh. So it's asking me, how do you want to configure Deepseek as your Claude Code provider on Windows? I'm just going to say a PowerShell profile. Now it's asking, did you mean this for WSL or Linux machine instead of this Windows host? I'm going to say no, configure this Windows machine, and we'll run that from there. It'll ask for a few more permissions, like you want to proceed with this PowerShell. I'll just go ahead and say yes, but you'll also notice in the prompt that I was asking it to present me the results so that I can just confirm that everything actually worked. All right, so everything just finished installing. We got it all wired in. Now let's actually get started using this. But I do want to say that when Claude Code edits your shell config, the terminal that you're currently running this in, it's not going to be picking up the new settings. So whatever you just installed, only a brand new shell will be picking that up. So instead of trying to refresh this specific window that we have right here, we just have to just close it completely, open a fresh new project folder. It's going to be a lot cleaner that way. So I went ahead and created a brand new folder. We've got a fresh window. We got a fresh shell. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up the terminal and we're just going to run Claude Code. So I'm just going to type out Claude. Now from here, if we actually expand on this a little bit, you can see it's automatically going to start up Claude for us. So we could run this in the dark mode and we'll just press enter. Press enter again and use the recommended settings. Go ahead and trust this folder. Now we can see Claude Code is fully loaded up and we can expand this as much as we want. And if I just type out model again, we'll be able to pull up all the different models that we will have listed out. So you can see we have the defaults, of course, Haiku, and then we have down at the bottom, the most important, Deepseek chat. Currently, it's already selected by default because that's what we set in config. So most of the day, I'm just gonna be on Deepseek and I don't really think about it. And the bill automatically stays very low for us. If I just back out and just say, what model are we running on? You'll see what we get. We're running on Deepseek chat. And if I just type out /usage, we'll actually be able to see all the different models that we are running specifically and what's actually getting the charge. So Deepseek, 24,000 inputs, about 400 outputs. And as you see, I've only spent about 13 cents on this. But anyways, the setup is completely done. Now let's get into some real stuff. So some quick context before I actually show you the build, because this is the actual workflow that I have been running, where most of the day I'm going to be on Deepseek, Claude Code. It looks completely identical. The work's going to get done. Our bill is going to stay very, very low. And when I hit something that is going to be heavier, where I do need more complex demands from Claude Code, that is just where I can actually, have a complex multi-file refactor. I can have a vision task, something that just needs deeper reasoning. I just hit /model and I can so easily just flip between utilizing the default Opus 4.7. So that's going to be the whole rhythm within this. The default, it's going to be Deepseek chat. And then when we do need something a little bit more hands-on, then we'll be utilizing the default Opus 4.7. Now to show you that Deepseek is genuinely capable of very real work, not just toy examples, I'm going to give it just one prompt right now and have it build me a real working dashboard. I'm going to have it build out a calculator that figures out how much you save by routing routine work to Deepseek. So this is the most on-theme demo that I could actually think of for this video. I'm just going to back out of this, and what we're going to paste in is this prompt right here. I'm just going to run it off build me a single page interactive dashboard called Deepseek versus Claude Code ROI calculator as just one indexed HTML file. So it should take 3 user inputs, so the monthly Claude Code spend in US dollars, the percentage of tasks that are routine/boilerplates, and then the average Deepseek cost ratio versus Claude, and defaults to 1 out of 100. Now number 2 is the live calculate and display. So just give me the monthly savings if it is routine work routing to Deepseek, the annual savings, the 5-year savings, and a simple bar chart comparing current versus the per monthly or the new monthly cost instead. Number 3 is just to use a clean modern design, and I'm just getting a little bit picky about how I want it to actually look. And then make sure that all values update live as inputs change, no submit button. So if we scroll down just a little bit, we can see it already finished up generating this. I mean, that took how long exactly? That was 28 seconds. So let's open this up, and we can, before we do that, we can see what it does. So the monthly spend, the routine task slider, and the cost ratio. So I'm gonna open this up real quick inside of our folder. Cool, so here we are, the Deepseek versus Claude Code ROI calculator. So our monthly Claude Code spend, we're just on the $200 subscription. So the routine/boilerplate tasks, we have about 60%, and we could also configure this as well. Then we have the Deepseek cost ratio versus Claude. Now the monthly savings, so it's about $119 versus $81. Annual savings, it's gonna be about $1,400, and then the 5-year savings, $7,000. So let's scroll down a little bit further, and we can actually see the bar chart. So this is going to compare Claude plus Deepseek, and then if we scroll down, we can see the bar chart just comparing current, which is just all Claude, versus a hybrid of Claude plus Deepseek. Now, to generate something like this, even just a couple of months ago, I mean, we simply would not have been able to create this unless I was using some sort of supercomputer. And honestly, like, none of the open source models, they just were not there yet. But I genuinely think we are there right now. Now, earlier in this video, I mentioned I was using a Snapdragon chip, and that is quite literally what makes my workdays possible, using something like this. It is what these chips do with AI workloads. So right now, as I'm filming this, like about 7 hours into the workday, Claude Code, it has been running builds all in the background, terminals open all over the place, and all the fans, they haven't even spun up once. And the part that actually surprised me the most is it's not just Claude Code that's actually staying quiet, it's everything at once. I have 10 different terminals open, I have multiple Claude Code sessions running in parallel, and a video rendering on top of that, and a browser windows just everywhere. And the chip, it literally absorbs all of this like a bulletproof vest. And the reason for that is because Snapdragon, it has a dedicated AI engine just built directly into the silicon. So the heavy AI inference work, it doesn't fight the CPU for any power. The CPU, it's instead staying free for the rest of your work. And that matters for the cost story in this video specifically because the API bill is only half of it, and the other half, it's just the hardware actually running underneath that. So if your laptop is just overheating and burning battery every time you run a build like this, you stop running them, and then you batch your work, you wait until you're plugged in, and you just avoid the long sessions, and you're just not leveraging and capitalizing on, you know, all the tools at our disposal, such as AI. So overall, that's lost productivity, lost time, and lost money for you in your pockets. But anyways, going back to this specific build, I mean, we can change this monthly Claude Code spend. Maybe it's gonna be about $300. I usually don't spend more than $300 a month. And you can see the savings. So about $178 versus $122. The annual savings, and of course the 10-year savings as well. Now, if we go back inside of Deepseek, you can see I literally only used 1 cent to build that dashboard. Now, this is why I actually defaults to this for most of my work, because it's not just adequate, it's actually very, very good. Now, anyways, I do want to get honest and cover some of the limitations when it comes to actually going with this approach. So from my experience, I have been just routing my Claude Code work through Deepseek for about 3 weeks now. I love it for what it actually does well, but I'm also going to tell you exactly what it doesn't do, because the operators, the builders who are actually getting burned trying this early in the year, they got burned on these specific things, and I would rather you know right now. So 4 things to be flagging. The first one I could actually show you on the screen right now. It's the MCP servers. So if you use Claude Code seriously, you've probably been wiring up MCP integrations. You have like file system access, linear, Notion, whatever it may be. MCP, it's going to be the protocol that lets Claude Code actually reach out and talk to all of your tools. So it's a big part of why Claude Code is, you know, powerful for real work. Watch what happens when I actually check MCP while routed through Deepseek. I'm going to type out /MCP, and it's going to say no MCP servers configured. Please run /doctor if this is unexpected. So we're getting nothing, and the reason isn't that I forgot to configure any, it's just that Deepseek's endpoint does not support the MCP protocol whatsoever. So Deepseek, they actually officially documented this in their API compatibility table, where MCP calls, they're flagged as just being ignored. So they're not broken, they're not throwing errors. it just quietly dropped it on the floor and they didn't really like regard it whatsoever. So even if you had 10 MCP servers wired up and working perfectly through Anthropic, the moment you start using Deepseek, it's not going to fire any of those. That's why I would be switching back to Opus the second that I am in MCP territory, or you can just go to something else like utilizing Sonnet or Haiku. You don't need to kill every single process with, high premium model like Opus. Now, number two, it's going to be vision. So if you've ever pasted a screenshot into Claude Code, just expecting the model to read what's on the screen, like debug a UI bug from like a screenshot, pull data out of a chart, or like looking at a design, like that capability, it lives on Anthropic's side. In Deepseek's coding endpoint, it doesn't process images whatsoever. So anytime my work involves looking at something visual, I have to flip to a different model from Anthropic like Sonnet or Opus. Number three is the prompt caching. So this is like the quietest gotcha, I would say, of all the four. So Anthropic, it gives you a discount when you actually reuse long system prompts across sessions because they cache the prefix on their end, right? So for most of what you and I do day to day, that doesn't really matter, where each session, it's gonna be completely fresh. But if you run agent loops with massive system prompts that are just going to be repeating all day, every day, like maybe an SDR agent or a background worker hitting the API every single minute, the Anthropic cache discount can quietly become bigger than the Deepseek savings on those exact workloads. So it's definitely worth modeling all of this out before you actually commit a heavy production workload. Now, number four, and this is the one that I've actually felt the most in my actual work, is the multi-file debugging across a large code base. So when you are 3 layers deep trying to just figure out why a request is going to, so for example, if you're 3 layers deep trying to figure out why a request is failing in a multi-service repo for you, Deepseek, it usually needs 2 or 3 follow-up prompts where Sonnet would often just one-shot it for you. So the token savings, it does vanish on tasks like that because you are having to reprompt, 4 times instead of just the one shot. So whenever I do hit deep multi-file debugging, I flip to Opus, I do that part, I flip right back. Now, if you take one thing away from this video, do not switch entirely. Don't just go straight into Deepseek as I showed you reasons why. You want to be using the model picker the way that I have been using it. So your default, it points Claude Code at Deepseek. That's your everyday setup. And most of your work, it runs just right through it. Your bill, it's going to be dropping significantly. And when something hard actually breaks, like a multi-file bug or a vision task, an MCP heavy workflow, you just hit /model, pick out Opus or Sonnet, whatever it may be, and you can flip to that, flip back later. So with that being said, this is only going to be applicable if you are going to be utilizing the API. So some of you do utilize a Claude subscription. So in that case, it's not going to matter as much unless you're constantly hitting your limits. So with that being said, just stop paying full price for Claude when most of your work, it does not need it. So that's the real unlock. So if you're an operator running automations or any internal tooling on Claude Code, this literally turned a $200 monthly pilot into a $20 pilot. So the whole thing, that was just too expensive to leave running around the clock, just got cheap enough to actually leave running around the clock. And that's the real shift in what is actually worth building right now. But anyways, just a quick thanks again to Snapdragon for sponsoring this video and for the laptop that has been powering the entire build that you just watched. So link will be down below in the description if you want to check it out. Highly recommend them. But in any case, thank you guys for watching. If you are interested in getting more hands-on approach, learning all stuff like this right when it drops, then make sure to check out our free school community and also our weekly AI newsletter. And if you're a business owner looking to implement AI into your business in 2026, then make sure to book in a call with our team. Link will be down below in the description. But again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.